attend the pickleball breakout session tomorrow, please meet by the registration desk just outside these doors of Carter Hall. We will have USI students waiting there to walk with you across the boulevard to our Recreation and Fitness Center. And we do not allow any hard-sole shoes or open-toed shoes on the court, so please be sure if you're going to participate in that to bring along a pair of sneakers tomorrow. Great exercise. Greg Oath was scheduled to speak during concurrent session 2 today on identity theft. He is unable to be here, but Tom Latham is taking his place and will speak on the same topic. You do have an opportunity to tweet your thoughts about the conference, and that is at hashtag MAIA rocks. So I think we've got that up there for you. New this year, our participants with iOS and Android phones and tablets are able to access the free USI Conference app. From the app, you can see the conference agenda, speaker presentations, attendee names, exhibitors, and tweet about the conference. A USI Conferences app guide was attached to the email you received prior to the conference, and a copy was also provided to you when you registered today. Please check at the mobile app support desk next to the registration desk for assistance in logging on to the USI Wi-Fi and for using the mobile app. Instructions for getting onto the Wi-Fi are on the slide behind me here. In order to receive continuing education credits, you need to complete the online evaluation form. You were sent an email to a link to this yesterday evening. You may open that link and complete the evaluation up to 2 weeks post-conference. At the end of the evaluation, you will be asked to verify your name, address, and email and attest to your attendance. You will receive your certificate of completion by email. Each attendee must have a separate email address. If you are unsure if we have your correct email, please stop by the registration desk to confirm. If you did not receive an email with a link to the evaluation, then we probably don't have your correct email address. Remember, this is the only way that we have for ensuring that you receive credit for attending, so be sure that we have that email on file. Audio recordings and videos of some of our sessions today will be available on our USI website. The link to access these YouTube links and also a few PowerPoints is at usi.edu/MAIA 2014, or look for the 2014 Archive tab on our MAIA homepage. We will be drawing for attendance prizes at the end of today's closing session. You must be present to win. Lunch is in the loft to the right of the registration desk. We do ask that you turn your cell phones to either vibrate or to the off position. If you receive a call during the program, we ask also that you leave the conference room before answering the call. Now that we have all of that out of the way, I would like to introduce Rhonda Zuber, who is the president of Swerka and More, who will introduce our keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. Ready to start a great day, right? I have the pleasure of introducing Teepa Snow as she returns to USI for our pre-conference to share her insight in specific ways caregivers can help older adults with memory loss and dementia. Teepa has over 33 years of experience in geriatrics with a strong and varied clinical background. She was the OT director in a head injury facility, a clinical specialist in geriatrics at a Veterans Administration Medical Center, and has worked as a restorative care coordinator for long-term care facilities, as well as providing direct care in community, home health, long-term care, assisted living, and rehabilitation settings. She has clinical appointments with Duke University's School of Nursing and UNC Chapel Hill's School of Medicine. She provides educational and training sessions to organizations and providers throughout the U.S. and Canada. Teepa is originally from West Virginia and the Pennsylvania area. She attended Duke University as an undergrad and graduated with a major in zoology. She then received her MS degree from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill in occupational therapy. Since that time, she has lived in Central North Carolina. Today, we are pleased Teepa is in Evansville with us. Welcome, Teepa Snow.
Good morning. It's going to take us a second to get things switched up. My phone will go off every half hour, and I'll put the volume here, so that I know what time it is. Because when I get busy working with you, I won't keep up with time, and I've got to have a assistive device, and it's called a cell phone. It works pretty well as long as you listen to it. So when it goes off, it doesn't mean I have a phone call. It means probably we've spent a half hour so far, another half hour, another half hour. This morning is about really finding those moments of joy in caregiving when you're trying to help somebody who has some form of dementia live with that condition. And it's a challenge. It's hard. I've done it 4 times for family members, and I'm here to tell you I'd rather be the professional anytime. But I'll also tell you I've done it professionally. And there come times when it's really a difficult moment to do it one more time and to really be in that situation one more time. So because my main mission when I go out and do this, and it really is sort of my goal, my mission, is to help people do a better job at helping care for people who are living with dementia. Because when people get dementia, they don't have a choice anymore. They have dementia. And it's going to get worse. And it's eventually going to take their life. And it's going to rob them of a lot of things. The question is, will it rob them of you? And the question is, what will you do about it? How will you choose to be with the person that you're trying to help, or the persons that you're trying to help? And so my goal is that you gain skill, so that when you walk away from today, you don't just know something more, you have a different way of choosing to be with people. Because if you don't do something different, I don't care what you know. It doesn't matter what you know if you don't do something different. So in order to practice, you need a friend. So what I want you to do is I want everybody to get a friend that they're going to partner with today. Now, you don't have to keep them after this first session. I don't care if you stay with them. You can decide, well, this is a divorce. I thought it was a good idea. It's not. We don't match at all, and I don't want to be with you anymore. If you're married to the one you're picking, then I can't speak to that. That's your own issue. But for my session, I want you to be next to a person that you can try some things out with, because we are going to try some things out. I'm going to have you try out some strategies, some skills. And in order to do that, what's going to need to happen? Thank you. You did great. I might keep you on. That's very good. Thanks. All right, so everybody got a friend? You do not. Do you want to be my friend? Will you work with me? Okay, well, come on, sit up in this first chair. All right, so what we're talking about is creating moments of joy. And if y'all thought you were safe by sitting back there, you're wrong. I roam. People who were here yesterday know that. People up front are disappointed because it means you have to turn your head. Get over it. What we're going to... Uh-oh.
I think we need new batteries.
You need new batteries. Now you tell me. You wait till I get out there, and then you tell me that we need new batteries. Well, so be it. Okay. Well, I pushed a button. You can stand there and push buttons if you want. I'll tell you when. The goal I have for you is that you do more than just survive this disease. Why? Because on average, we're talking 8 to 12 years with symptoms. This is not a quickie. This is not a 6 months with cancer and you're done. This is 8 to 12 years of a changing, moving target. 8 to 12 years of a person changing in front of you and losing what they used to have and being still present, but not exactly how it was. My phrase is, I am who I was, but I'm different. I am who I was, but I'm different. The core of me is still there, but how I behave and how I act and what I do, it may change dramatically. What I'm able to do is going to change a lot. The question for you, are you just going to try to survive this for 8 to 12 years? Or are you going to figure out how to find within this moments of joy? You do not get a whole day or a whole week or a whole visit of joy. That's not probably going to happen, because what you're going to have to do is work while you're with me. It's not all, thank you. It's not all about just having a fun time anymore or having a relationship we've always had, because I'm not me exactly. I am, but I'm not. So with the person next to you, what I want you to do is I want you to realize something about human beings. Take a look at your hands. Everybody look at your hand. And what I want you to realize is this is an amazing thing. You've got, oh, look, there's two. Take a look at both of them because this is really interesting. Take them and close them up into just fists. Now tell me how you would get dressed if you had no fingers at the ends of these things here. Go ahead and show me how you'd do that. Show me how you'd write. Show me how you'd feed yourself. Show me how you'd drive a motor vehicle. Show me how you'd show love to another human being. These things are amazingly important. They're amazingly important to us, and yet we understand so little about them. Here's what you don't appreciate at all. Do this. This is what controls these. The brain is what controls your hands. How your hands do what they do is basically run by your brain. And what do you know about dementia? It's a brain disease. It messes with your brain, so it's going to mess with your hands. And so ultimately with this disease, it changes how and what you're able to do in the world around you. It's going to change not just memory. That's the minor part of the iceberg. What it's going to do is change everything about how you do things. You're going to lose your ability to use your hands. So look at the person next to you. As the person next to you loses their ability to do things and you're noticing that they are having trouble doing things. They are, oh, yikes. Man, they got that shirt on inside out. They've got 3 shirts on. Their pants are unzipped. I mean, they got all kinds of things going wrong. They've got food and they're not eating it. They're sitting there and they're not eating their food. It is so important to give care. We want to give care. We are caregivers. So one of you has dementia. Decide who it is. I don't care. Okay, now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your pen, because I see most of you have pens because you were planning on using your hands anyway. Take your pen and get them to look at you. And now imagine that you have something, ice cream, something for them to eat, and you've noticed that they're not eating it even though it's sitting there, and you've yelled at them, take a bite of your ice cream. Don't you want your ice cream? And they go, huh? Huh? What? What? And they're not hard of hearing. I want to emphasize that. They're hard of comprehending. But what you do is yell at them like they're hard of hearing. And they go, why are you yelling at me? And you say, well, I'm trying to get you to eat. Okay. Are you going to eat? Yeah. Pick up your spoon. All right. Let me just emphasize, do this. You are using your mouth to try to get their hands to work. How stupid is that? Does that make any sense at all when you think about it? No, but you all love to do this, do this. You guys get diarrhea of the mouth. You run at the mouth to try to get these to work. Even this isn't working, and you're trying to get this to tell this, to tell this, to do that. Who has dementia? It's called stressed out. Caregiving is what it's called. So what you do is you pick up the tool, pick up the bowl. You're going to get them to get it by doing it for them. So get the ice cream, get right in front of them. Now, here's what I want you to do. People with dementia, some other things are changing, your ability to use your eyes. So what I want you to do, close one eye and put your hand around the other. By this point in the disease where you're having trouble using your hands, do this. This is approximately how well your visual center is working in your brain. The back of your brain is what allows you to take visual data, interpret the data, and figure out what to do with it. So by this point in the disease, you no longer have binocular vision because you have to integrate the 2 images. And your brain goes, double vision is really horrible, don't do it. It quits processing data from one eye and simply processes data from a single point source, one eye. They tend to pick their dominant eye because that's the one they tend to use as your focus eye anyway. Shooting a gun, anything you do with focus, you use one eye. I mean, you don't use both eyes. But using binocular vision gives you depth perception. Distance vision, the ability to do figure ground activities. They can't do that as well. So put your hand around one eye, because the other problem is I can't take in all the data. I get overwhelmed by data, and we have peripheral vision and we have central field vision. And what's the one that allows you to actually see objects? Center field. The peripheral, just you notice things. And when you notice, you turn and you look and see, is it something I need to be worried about or not? But the center field is what remains. So they basically have this vision left. Okay, so this is how much they're able to see. Now, they can't use their fingers very well. We'll talk more about that in a second, because as a caregiver, you need to get your head around this idea. But you've noticed they're not eating, and you get right in front of them because you want to be helpful. Okay, so get your thing. Get right in front. Grin, because you will tend to grin. You're trying to be friendly. Make sure they can see you. Grin real big. And now poke at their mouth. Do it. No, that was perfect. What y'all didn't hear her say, she went, shit. She didn't mean to, and she apologized. Excuse me. That's exactly what people with dementia are going to do, only they're not going to excuse themselves. They're going to get the hell out. What the hell are you doing? Get your hands away from me. Bullshit. This is bullshit. Stop it. And that's because you startled them. When they were busy looking at your face, try it again. Try it again, and notice what you're going to want to do. When you smile at the person looks at your face. What you don't realize is because they've lost so much peripheral awareness, they have no awareness of your hand coming to their mouth. You're running your mouth saying, I'm going to give you a bite of ice cream, and you nod your head yes. Nod your head yes right in front of your partner. Your person, without thinking about it, nods back because they think you're being friendly. And from out of nowhere, and it startles them because something's so close that it touched their mouth, and they jerk back, and it's a startle movement. At that moment, how many people think they're going to go, oh yeah, ice cream? How many are going, whoa, wait a minute, what are you doing? Stop that. And they throw their hand up, or they back themselves away, or they panic and shut their mouth hard. Well then, this is y'all. Look at them again, because it's important that they eat. Now you use the side of the spoon and try to put it right at their chin and try to take a bite. Now if they're not cooperating, put your hand behind their head to hold it still. Because this is important to get this food in here. You're committed. No, stop. Mom, I'm trying to get... I've been doing this 33 years, and let me just tell you, we never called it force feeding, but it's a lot of force involved, and we go, come on, one bite, one bite, one bite. What we're not recognizing is by then, they have no hunger and thirst. Their journey is almost done. Our problem is learning the art of letting go. We have a real struggle with this because we keep trying to fix the unfixable. And we keep struggling with when is it letting go and when is it giving up. Yeah, that's a real challenge, knowing the difference between giving up on someone and letting go of something that doesn't matter. And this disease is all about the art of letting go versus giving up and finding moments of joy. But I'm going to tell you, most of what you're doing right there has nothing to do with whether they're hungry or not. What's happening there is because of how we do what we do. We scare people to a point where they can't process what we're trying to do, because what we're trying to do this, is take our hand and do for them what their hand used to do without understanding how the hand works. And we didn't even realize what the visual field was. And we didn't have an awareness of the most sensitive part of the human body, the absolute times 100% most sensitive part of the human body. Do this, right where you put an oxygen mask. This has more sensory end organs per square inch, times 100% compared to any other part of your body. This is where you have smell and taste. It's also where you have the highest degree of sensitivity to touch. You have the most sensory end organs for touch reception anywhere right here. Huge, huge. Right here in the front, not the sides. Just here in the front. The lips, the bottom. You control saliva. Saliva shoots out under your tongue, and you're always having to take care of it. If you don't take care of it, it'll take care of you. And you know when you sleep. Y'all are sloppy sleepers. I mean, it drips out the side, and you lose. Oh, yeah, there it is. If you've ever had Novocaine, You go to an interview and it's like, oh crap, what is that? That's droll. You don't even know it's happening because they've numbed you. But it's also the finest skill you will ever have for fine motor skill. Say the word dime, time, find, find. All of that is done with infinite skill and manipulation. Turn to the person next to you and imagine one of you is a 5-month-old baby. And the other one will be going, look at mommy, ma. Say ma, ma. And the baby goes, da, 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 da. Turn again and you go, no, ma, ma. I want to hear ma, ma. And the baby goes, da, 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 da. And you go, ma, ma. Da, da. And they go, ba, 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 ba. Ma is the hardest one for them to get. And man, does that drive us nuts. We want it. And pretty soon daddy's going, say ma, please say ma. You've got to say ma. You must say ma, 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 ma. People with dementia will get to a point where they have a difficult, they get again, and they pay again, and they go pay again, down, 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 again, then, and they put it again, and they go again, and they go, and again, and you put it, go, they get down, 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 down. And you're like, whoa, what just happened there? Well, what just happened? You get there, and again, go, and go to hell. Now that came out clear as a bell, because that's stored in another section of brain that still works. How cool is that? So, well, hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? And God bless you. That's stored over there too. It's sort of automatic social chit chat. That's preserved. But and then get it, and we go back here, go, get it. And you go, and you think I can't communicate anymore. I'm doing the best I can with what I have left. I'm losing all that skill. It's not just my hands now, it's also my mouth is falling apart. Now, when you hear that, the other thing to be aware of is, how well am I going to handle food that gets put in there? Oh, because if I don't have the skill to manipulate my muscles to speak, be aware that the food will go to the sides and then get pocketed. The liquid will go in and I won't know where it's at once it gets in there, and it becomes dangerous for me. So this is where we're learning that art of letting go by recognizing systems are shutting down here, folks. And it's not a lack of will or a lack of desire, it's really brain failure in the later stages. And so what's really important is our relationship. It's not really about one more bite of food or one more drink, because we aren't going to change the ultimate outcome. What we can do is we know where the journey ends. The question is, how will we get there? How will we travel with someone rather than drag them where we think we can? We can't go there. That's a dead end. It's a track that doesn't lead where we want it to go. And you can take them off on all these branches and you're going to end up having to back up and come back to the main line, which is, this is brain failure. But in the midst of brain failure, there are moments of joy. And here's the moments when you figure out things about yourself and about them that are going to allow you to sustain a relationship. So let's take a look at your hand again, because I'm going to tell you something. Y'all don't know what you need to know about this if you're going to care for another human being. You're glad they work, but you don't understand much. You have 3 skills on this side of your hand and 1 skill on the back of your hand that really matter. So let's cover the 3 skills in the palm of your hand that y'all better know about if you're going to actually try to help somebody living with dementia. Let's take your hand, and the first thing I'm going to do is tell you where the nerves from your brain go. So take your finger and draw a line pretty much between your ring finger and your middle finger straight down your hand. You have 1 nerve that goes to this side of your hand and 1 nerve that goes to this side of your hand. This side over here, the little finger side of your hand, is called your ulnar nerve for those of you who care. For the rest of you who don't care, don't bother. Doesn't matter. There's just a nerve that goes over there. This side of your hand is what allows your hand to be strong. It gives it a power grip. So open a jar of peanut butter that's stuck. Show me. Squeeze pliers really tight. Hold on to a hammer to hammer and cut tough meat with a knife. That's where you get your power from. That's where you have your hold, your grip. These 3 fingers, the 3 other fingers, do these. These are your skill fingers. Button a button. Go ahead and do it. Zip a zipper. Pick up your pen to write. Put a nut on a bolt, take it back off. Everything you do with skill, use these 3 fingers. Use your skill fingers. These are your strength fingers. Dementia, do this. Dementia will always rob you of skill before it takes away your strength. Always. In the human brain, it robs the skill before it takes away the strength. So what it does is it changes your skill fingers into just more strength fingers. So take your spoon, your imagined spoon, and hold it the way you would hold it if you were going to eat. So imagine how you were going to eat. Notice how you use it with skill. And hold the cup out here and do this. And what I want you to realize is without recognizing it, you are adapting and adjusting your wrist movements for gravity. So when you put soup in that spoon and you bring it up, you hold it consistently against gravity all the way up without even realizing it. You've done it for years. You don't even realize it. Now, take your hand and hold it like this. And now, try to bring it up to your mouth. And what happens to food on the way up? Because I'm holding my wrist static now, I'm not moving it, I can't, and do this. You start to lean forward over food so that you can get it there. That changes the position of your neck and your swallowing mechanism. Let's say you're sitting like this, though. You're leaning back in your chair and you're at the table. Now do this. Where's everything going to end up? It's going to all fall off. Now, who's going to look at that? Look at your partner. Now, take your napkin, put your binoculars or put your one eye back on, stand up over them because you're standing up. Stand up, lean in and go, you got to have okay? Yeah, wipe the front of their shirt, see how that goes for them. No, touch them, actually put your hands on them. You sure don't hesitate when they have dementia. Notice how shy you're being now. Once again, what happens? A negative reaction. Why? Because, do this, you're using your skill without their knowledge. You think you've given them information, but you're talking and you're giving them head movement, but you actually aren't sharing with them what you're about to do in a way that has meaning to them. Because language is going away. Language center, put your hand up here to the left, temporal lobe, is one of the very first skills they'll lose. They lose the ability to sort through language and interpret words and make sense of sentences. Early in the disease, they're going to lose 1 out of 4 words. By mid-disease, it's 2 out of 4 words. And by the end of the disease, they hear 4 words and they'll process 1. So what ends up happening is they get stuck on the wrong word. They go off on, they don't, come here, they're lost. And so what do? Give them more words. Give them more words, and we change our tone of voice so that we sound like a parent. We sound like we're disappointed. We sound like we're frustrated with them. That's not going to give you a moment of joy. It certainly doesn't give them a moment of joy. So we've got to make some different choices. And what we want to do is figure out how to give them a sense of control, how to give them a sense of relationship, because we're losing our relationship with them. We're treating them as though they're stupid and a child. And I'm 92, thank you very much, and I've had a lifetime of skill, and I don't understand why you're doing this to me. This is making no sense to me, and that's not going to give us moments of joy with each other. So what we're going to do is the following. I got to know about my person, Darlene. Are you left-handed or right-handed, Darlene? Right-handed. Now, this is a really important thing. Pick up your pen with your dominant hand. Go ahead and pick your pen up, all of you, the way you normally would, and grab a piece of little scrap paper of some sort. Doesn't matter, you're not going to keep it. Or maybe you will, I don't know, might frame it, who knows. Here's what I want you to do with it. Okay, have you got your piece of paper? Close your eyes. Get your pen, get your paper, and you need enough of a piece that you can write on it. So don't make a mistake there and pick something really small because the university doesn't want you writing on their tables. All right, are you ready? Close your eyes and write what I tell you to write without looking, no peeking. You ready? The reason you can do this, you've done it 1,000,000 times. Keep your eyes closed and write that. The reason you can do this, you've done it 1,000,000 times. Now, when you're done, don't open your eyes. Do not open your eyes. Wait until I tell you to. When you finish writing, what's going to happen is, and I tell you to, and you do, you're going to look at what you did, and you're going to go, oh, wow, that's really pretty good. I'm surprised how well I did without vision. Because what you don't realize is you don't actually watch yourself write most of the time. You notice it out your peripheral vision, but as long as you're just writing words you're familiar with, you don't actually look at what you're doing. You're on automatic pilot, and you have done this millions of times. And what you're going to do is look at your work, be pleased with yourself, and share it with the person next to you. Okay, you ready? Open your eyes. Now, did you do exactly what I told you would do? Yes, you did, because it's exactly how human brains work. Switch to your non-dominant hand. Close your eyes and write the following sentence. Now, most of you were able to, by the way, when you did it with your dominant hand, you had great letter formation, good spacing between words, and you even did a straight line across, and if you did a second line, you dropped down and did a second line straight underneath that first line, even without vision. It's really quite remarkable what you've built into your brain as an automatic pilot pattern. The only time you actually look at writing when you normally write is if you write on an uncomfortable surface or an unusual situation, or you're trying to spell a word you don't know. That's when you'll actively look at your writing. Otherwise, you don't. You just don't. You put it in peripheral. You're taking notes. You notice. It's sort of like typing. You notice, but you don't really look. It's peripheral. Switch to your non-dominant hand. Close your eyes. Write the following. The problem you are having is called Apraxia, A-P-R-X-I-A. Now, keep your eyes closed. Most of you, when you finish, and I tell you to, and you open your eyes, are going to look at your work and you're going to laugh at yourself. You're going to go, oh my God, that's really bad. Oh, geez. Some of you then will be sortably improved. You'll be surprised at how well you did. And you'll go, wow, moment of joy. This is actually better than I thought. I can make out letters. This is better than I thought. I can actually see words. Look, look, look. And then you will turn to the person next to you, will be laughing, and you will share this crappy work with them, being pleased. Open your eyes and take a look. Yeah, look at that. You can see some of the letters. Now, I want you to realize you just screwed up, and yet you had a moment of joy. Why did you have a moment of joy? Because you both experienced what it feels like to be unsuccessful at doing something, and yet you did the best you could because your brain isn't good at that. Here's the deal. Most of you don't have brains that were good at it ever, so it's not a big surprise. What if your left hand or your non-dominant was your dominant, and you look at your work and you still can't make your hand do what you want it to write a simple sentence, to pick up a spoon and eat? And realize how flustered you get when you, the only thing that's going to make this tolerable is if we can both figure out ways to find moments of joy through this. We've got to figure out ways that make this be okay and not, look at your person who did the handwriting with the non-dominant hand. Look at them and shake your head and go, oh my God, what is wrong with you? You know how to do this, come on, you can do better than that. Why, you're not even trying. I am not going to help you if you don't even help yourself. It's really easy to sit in judgment of another human being when you're not in their brain and realizing their brain is trying its very best to do what it knows how to do, and it just can't find the rhythm. It can't find the skill. It has the strength, but not the skill. And we've got to learn the art of letting go of that, but not giving up on them. So what do we have so far? We have strength, losing skill. Okay? Third thing that the palm of the hand loves and is very good at, the palm of your hand is one of the best pressure sensors ever created in this world. It is a fine, fine pressure sensor. It can tell exactly how much pressure is needed. Well, shit, I thought I had that. Hang on, I got it. Well, damn, this thing is coming. Here, let me get it now. Here, I got it. Oh, whoops.
Now you're going to drop it?
Now, yeah, and so now I go, oops, too much, and then I let go a little bit, but it's too much. what happens is I have great pressure sensitivity. Everybody in this room does. The most sensitive of all are the tips of these 3 fingers. Those are our skill fingers, but the whole of your hand is incredibly good at pressure sensitivity. You can tell exactly how much pressure to exert. Here's the thing about human beings. Do this. The palm of your hand, human beings love pressure in the palm of their hand. They love it. It calms them down. Feels really good. Yeah, that's why babies rock back and forth on their hands and knees. Yeah, give me some pressure through the palm, baby. I'm a happy girl. Particularly right down in here. It's called proprioceptive. They really like pressure. Now, shake hands with the person next to you and enjoy pressure without skill. Grin real big and squeeze the crap out of the person's hand. Yeah. Now, caregiver, when somebody's squeezing the crap out of your hand, you're thinking, ow, 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 you're hurting me. And you're going, you're hurting me. And I'll go, yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like it. Because am I saying I like hurting you? Wow. What am I really saying? I love pressure, and it feels so good to squeeze something squishy. Wow. Oh, do I like that? Oh, more is better. I love. Now, let me get my other hand out there. Get both hands. Grab them by the forearm now. And then, yeah, and rotate back and forth, because that'll, oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, yeah, feel that? Yeah. And now if you want them to come, pull on them. Yeah, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. 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 Come on, baby. Come on. I don't even know you're there. I'm just liking the pressure, man. I love it. I'm dragging whatever I've got. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Come on. But then you startle me by moving ahead. So you move ahead. Start moving ahead. And now I grab. Yeah, I grabbed something to hold on, because all of a sudden this shit's getting out of control. And she's scaring me. And now I plant myself. This is in the car door. This is in the doorway. This is at the toilet. This is you trying to move me, and I'm getting scared, and I'm holding on for dear life. And you're then running your mouth going, Teepa, Teepa, honey, I need you to let go. Teepa, you're hurting me. Teepa, Teepa, Teepa. Get right in the person's face. Get in your partner's face and say, let go, let go, let go. Let go. Yeah, I got it. Now, she has wised up just a little bit, and she has figured out that struggling is a really bad idea, because the other hand may come over and get hold of something else. But she's also gotten to a point where she's freaking out at this point, because her brain is going, danger, Will Robinson, danger. So do we want to get in these situations? Because when you're panicked and scared, are you going to have moments of joy? No, you're going, oh my God, what is she doing? And then what happens is your voice changes. Your body changes. And guess what you want? Pressure. And guess what you do? You grab them. Now, their brain doesn't understand that it's a reaction to what they did. They think you're starting something. And so what do they think they need to do? Defend themselves, because you started really grabbing hold of them hard. Because it's real different to put pressure in the palm of your hands versus have somebody squeeze on your body. That's a half hour, just so you know. Do you see how it'd be hard for me to keep up with that? I mean, this is real busy stuff. So what we're going to do is figure out how to make this work for us. Because we've got to figure this out. What do they have? Strength and more strength. They like pressure. What do we have? Let's review what we have, because it's important we remember what we have. We have strength, but we also have skill. We also are good with pressure, but we have really good sensitivity. We have really good abilities. So let's go with a handshake, but here's what we're going to do. When they start to shake your hand, go like this. So everybody go like this. I want to see a bird in flight. Let me see you fly birds or fly butterflies. I want to see butterflies moving. Yeah, good, good. Lots of butterflies. Now here's caregiver. Let the person with dementia close down with strength. Caregivers, close with your strength. What do you have left? Your skill. What's missing for them? Skill. Now take the palm of your hand and pump in the palm of their hand. What are you giving them? Pressure. What are they looking for? Pressure. Oh, wow. Yeah. Here's the other cool part. Your hand and your eyes are connected. How cool is that? Your eyes and your hands. Well, there's a good reason for that. Because human beings always want to see stuff. They like to see stuff. Once they see stuff, they decide whether they want stuff or not. They look at it, and if it looks interesting and curious, yeah, what do they want to go do? Touch it. Think of a baby for just a second. Think back to babies. They are so bad, they're 3 months old. They are so bad at skill and coordination, they can't even sit up. You sit up a 3-month-old and let go of it, what will happen? Thump! It'll fall over. So maybe it just needs practice. Do it again. Thump! It's because their brains aren't ready for sitting up yet. They don't have the neurological capacity to sit up yet. I could do that over and over again. All they'll get is head injuries. And they'll get shaken baby. I mean, until their brains get to a point and their bodies get to a point where the brain and the body is communicating in such a way that they can hold themselves upright against gravity. And it takes a certain amount of core strength, but it also takes leaning forward on their forearms. They sit in a circle and they put their hands down, and you start to see them start to develop it. And you all put cushions around them at first, so when they fall over, they don't whack anything. And then they gradually develop the skill. But if you lay them on their backs, they don't actually have to do that. Okay, so you lay them on their backs, and you put dangly crap down. They are fascinated by the dangly crap. And what you will see first, do this. They clearly want to do something with the dangly crap. And think of what the first place they do stuff with the things in the world. They're not good with their hands yet. Their hands are fisted often, and they're doing stuff. And if you put your finger, they'll squeeze it, and you have a hard time coming out of that. They'll grab your hair. Yeah, they do all that. Grab your lip. They'll hook in there and then squeeze the crap out of it. But fortunately, they have little starfish hands, so you can pry them loose real easy. The thing is that what they're doing, they're trying to get to the thing that they're seeing because they want to mess with it, they want to feel it, they want to explore it, but they're missing something. It's not mom's breast, it's not coming. Because if I do that with mom, she figures out what I want. You use your finger, they'll put your finger where? The passing. All goes right here because this is the most sensitive part. This is the part they learn best and first with. And after they learn this, then. So now they're laying there. And here's what happens. They whack it with their arm, and their brain goes, look what I did. And you can watch them when they get this. Their whole body goes, check it out. I'm special. I control the world. And the next skill they learn is grabbing it. And if it's elastic, where will it come? Right to the mouth to check it out. And then they'll take it back out and look at it again. And then they'll bring it to the mouth. And then gradually the hand will fatigue out and they'll let go of it. But it fatigues out, and that's how they let go of things at first. Eye-hand, though. What draws your eye draws your hand. What your hand touches draws your eye. It's back and forth, forth and back. And so you learn how to use your eyes and your hands to get what you want from the world around you. Kind of cool how that works. So now they're older, they're in a high chair, and you put the Cheerios out on the top. We're getting to the fourth skill that people develop, children develop, babies develop. You put the Cheerios out, and the first thing they're going to do with the Cheerios is they'll move them around on the tabletop with their hand like this. So do your hand like this. They create a cage. They put their fingertips down, and they capture some Cheerios under the fingers, and they'll squish them. Use your strength, grab them. And the next thing they'll do is bring them to their mouth, and they peel them out. And they've got Cheerios and drool and crap all over their face because they're not very good at this yet. Now, with more practice and more time, do this. They pick it up now with their skill fingers, but they're not real good at distance and judging, and they gag themselves as they put the Cheerios in. And then they get a little more skilled, and then they ultimately are really pretty skilled at this. They're doing a really pretty good job. Do this. And they've got this down, so they fill themselves up with Cheerios. They aren't hungry anymore. So now they pick it up, and being human, they're learning the art of letting go. Now, let's talk about the fourth skill in the human hand. Do this. Draw a line up the back of your hand. All the muscles and all the tendons and the nerve in the back of your hand is controlled on this back surface. Its job is to help you let go. It is the last skill that humans develop. Babies don't have letting go. They can't voluntarily let go. Occasionally their hand opens, but it's not by choice. It's just what happens. It's an automatic reflex. And there's certain things that cause, if you rub over here, it causes the hand to do this. If you touch back here, it causes the hand. It's an automatic reflex. It's built into your brain. Kind of cool. What we do, though, is we pry babies loose, typically when they grab something that we don't want them doing. But ultimately, when they're sitting here with the Cheerios, they're starting to learn how to let go. They're learning active letting go skills. So get your Cheerios and drop them. This is when parents who are smart get dogs. Because dogs are down there going, yeah, baby, give it to me. And now the child forms a relationship with a new creature. And pretty soon the dog is just like, I'm here. You'll like me. Try me. Whatever you don't like, give it to me. I can try it. It'll be good. So we're doing this, and now we start with this. Do this. We start flinging. But flinging doesn't have great skill. We're not good at letting go, so the thing goes every which way but loose. But later on, we develop target skill where we know exactly where in the trajectory to let go so that that ball will hit a target all the way out there. So that when I release, I will get it just where I want to do it. But you have to rehearse it over and over. The maximum time in order to develop this skill set is 16 to 25 years of age. That's when you're at your peak for learning these new patterns. You will learn them incredibly fast. You can grow new brain synapses in a heartbeat at that age. That is why we send them to college. Because they can grow a lot of new synaptic connections really fast and get them wired in. The older you get, here's the cool part, you can still do it. The bad news, it's going to take more rehearsal. On estimate, we think it takes about 40 repetitions for a new brain cell synapse to actually form up in a 16 to 25-year-old. If they rehearse something with focus about 40 times, if they rehearse it 40 times, it becomes a new brain cell synapse. They grow a new brain cell connection and they can use it. By the time you're 80, to get that same brain cell synapse to grow is going to take you approximately 400 rehearsals. Guess what we tend to do before we get it to hook in? Give up. There's a difference between letting go and giving up. Letting go is when I can no longer do something, let go of it. But I can do it. It just takes me longer and more rehearsals. What I'm not willing to do is give myself a chance to learn the new. I keep saying to myself, I just can't learn it. Yes, you can. You are selling yourself short, caregivers. Let me tell you something. It's hardest to learn when you're tired, when you're stressed out, when you're grieving loss. But when you're in a moment of joy, oh, then you can learn new. It actually helps you grow a synaptic connection if you're having some joy. If you're having a little fun and a little joy, you will hold on to things better. Your brain synapses grow better. It's a change in chemistry in the brain. We actually change our own chemistry by our emotional state. But here's the cool part. Hey. Do 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 do. do, 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 do. Now, I'm going to pause you, because what am I doing with your palms the whole time? I'm applying pressure on and off, aren't I? What am I doing with my feet? Take your hands, everybody, and make them feet. The same principles apply to your feet that apply to your hands. Big toe, second toe, third toe over is where you get skill in your feet. That's where the most skill is. That's where you can push off, balance, direct. This is where you can do things. And if you want to do things with skill, you always move with your toes, those big toes. The little outside toes, what are they for? Strength. That's where you do your push-off. The outside of your foot gives you the push-off. That inside toe is the skills. What's the bottom of your foot? Pressure sensor. The heel, the back of the foot, pressure sensor. As I develop dementia, what am I losing in my feet? Skill, keep strength, and I like pressure. What I'm going to do in my feet, though, that I didn't do in my hands is move the pressure forward into the forepart of the foot, where I have the greatest sensitivity, because I need that, because look at the distance. Look at the distance between the feet and the brain. Look at that wiring that has to happen. That's a lot. So what I want you to do is stand up, everybody. Stand up. And stand tall the way you would normally stand. And notice, shift your weight from side to side. Just do a weight shift. Notice how you can pick your foot up, pick your other foot up. Hold on if you need to for balance, because some of you are older. Some of you aren't as fit. Some of you have other issues going on. I want you to actually pick your knee up and shift and touch it to the opposite hand. Some of you can do that. Some of you better hold on while you do that. Some of you are going to be a little slower than others. Now, what I want you to realize is all that crossing the midline, all that's really healthy for a healthy brain. It's really challenging for somebody who has dementia, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. But it's going to work a whole lot better if we are doing something together like this. There you go. Yeah, well, there you go. Good. Because I can actually show you what I want. So with your partner, try this with a partner. And it's hand under hand, hand under hand. The elbow comes underneath, so you're supporting under their elbow a little bit, caregivers. You've got your elbow under theirs, and you're up against their side a little bit, so you create a lot of stability. Turn sideways just a tiny bit to them, so that you're sort of a square of a box to start with, and just shift your weight from side to side. Just do weight shifts. Shift through your hips. Your hips, not your shoulders, your hips. And now let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. Now, stop a second, and I'm going to ask you, how many of you checked out whether you were on the dominant or the non-dominant side of the person you're trying to help? You forgot, didn't you? Aha, new skill you have to work on. Switch to their dominant. Now here's the thing. Tell me which of your upper body parts, dominant or non-dominant, had the most skill. Dominant. With movement in your lower body, you always want to initiate movement with your dominant foot. You stabilize on your non-dominant and initiate with your dominant. That's always going to be what you want to do. It's what the human brain is designed to do. You have skill on one side and stability on the other. So what we want to do is work on shift to the non-dominant for the person with dementia. So you shift toward them a little bit. They'll shift away from you onto the other foot. Stomp the near foot. Now do this one, and this one, and this one, and that one, and this one, and that one. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. The last one stopped to shoot a gun, and the ants go marching round and round and down in the ground. Now let me have you pause. Because what I want you to realize is I just got her all the way down the hall without having to do battle. Let go, come on. Ow, you're hurting me. Because I took everything about a human brain that works, and I have her doing what she has left. I'm only supporting where she needs my support. And I'm not trying to get her to do things that don't make sense to her brain. I'm using what she has left. All of a sudden, things change dramatically in our relationship. And the reason that I use music and rhythm is because that's a preserved part of the human brain. That's something they keep. Just like automatic social chit-chat and the swearing, it's preserved. Just like strength is preserved and the desire for pressure is preserved, it's preserved. That means on the feet too. But what's going to happen as we move forward, y'all can sit, as the disease moves forward into its later stages, what I'm going to start having trouble with is moving well. I'm going to shift forward onto the fronts of my feet, and I'll be nervous, and so I crouch down just a little bit. I bring my shoulders forward in a C roll. I actually roll my hips under me, so I'm staying over my base of support, but my base of support, instead of being on the sole of my foot, is on the front of my foot. So I'm already unbalanced, and my heels are actually starting to come up off the ground a little bit, and it makes me nervous. And I don't take big steps. I'm taking real small steps, and I'm actually catching myself on my toes almost as I walk, which is making me really high risk for, but I see something I want. I see something that I see, and that needs to be picked up. Because I think this thing, the electrical socket on the floor, needs to be picked up. And I think I can pick it up. I don't know what I can't do anymore. So Susie sees me doing this, and it freaks her out because she knows, uh-oh, we got a problem, Houston. Get out of here, you shit. Oh, and down I go. Yeah, she grabs my pants like that's going to do some good. That's what you could do with babies. You can sort of hold them up by their britches. That doesn't work so well with me. I'm a little bigger than that. So what happens to her back? What happens to her shoulder? What happens to her neck? She gets hurt. Does she like me so much anymore? No, she's mad at me because she got hurt. But who caused that? She did, because she was so worried about me, and she came up with a really bad idea of how to help me. Because what she tried to do is use her skill when the problem is I didn't even know she was there. She was just getting in my way, and I tried to get her out of my way a couple times, and she never picked up on the cue. What she wants to know is, she knew, y'all knew exactly what I was going for, because I'm going to let you know. Watch my eyes. What my eyes look to are going to tell you what I'm interested in, because I can't hide anymore. Now, you know all the way from here to there what I'm after. Yeah, she's working on the art of substitution, but the problem is she's going to pick something really stupid and do a real dumb thing, I can tell already. Because she's still sitting in that chair, holding up stuff, like I'm going to stop and pay attention to her. What's my visual field like at this point? We've talked about it. It's like this. So what you're going to do is cause distress for yourself and for me, instead of coming into this thinking, okay, I want her to pause, and I want her to redirect. I'm going to redirect her vision to me. I actually am going to try to distract her from this thing, because this is something you can't pick up off the floor, can you? No, but can I see it? Oh yeah, I've got it in my eyeballs now. Now we know in this immediate moment we've got to do something about this, or we're going to have a problem. But we also know right now we also need to think long range on this, because this isn't going to get better, is it? You've got to let go of the idea that I'm going to stop doing this. You've got to realize I am going to continue doing it. So what are you going to do about that? You've got to change the environment for me, because I can't do it the way you want me to anymore. So I'm starting toward it, and I'm real invested in it. Now what you're going to want to do is come up over here to my dominant side, turn your body sideways a little bit, and you're going to go, Teepa Snow. Now I want everybody to practice that, because I love to hear my name like that. That is not actually why I want you to do it. I want you to get into the feel of showing the person how excited you are to see them. You just saw them. Teepa Snow. And that's perfect. That look is just perfect, because then you want to go, hey, And you want to get me to look at you, because what draws my eye draws my hand. And you just got me. Now come toward me at that point, because I said, okay. Well, hi, baby. Now you better be ready. Yeah. Now, this is where what you're going to do is turn yourself this way just a little bit. Well, hey.
Hi.
Hey. Now, what are you doing with that hand? She's not sure. She's all nervous. I can tell. This is not comfortable. She's like, oh shit, is she going to do what I want? I don't know. I'm nervous. And because she's nervous, guess what? I'll pick up on that. You have to really be joyful and relax your body. There you go. Forget about, it's okay, you know it, but it's not going to be the main thing you're worried about right now. And you're going to say, oh, look. Oh, uh-oh, watch out. Uh-oh. Maybe over here. Oh, look at the hand. Hey, baby. Come on with me. Hey. Hey. Oh, my God, baby. Oh, you are the pretty one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at.
You like her?
Yeah. Look. Oh, you got to do something. Good job. Thank you. Did we have a couple moments of joy there? Yeah, why? Because we made different choices. We've got to then come back here and decide what we're going to do with these things on the floor. You've got to view the environment as I view the environment, or you're not going to have joy. You're going to have accident after accident, problem after problem, because I see what I see, I do what I can do, but it's changing. And you're having a hard time letting go of the idea that I'm not doing this on purpose. I am not doing it on purpose. I'm doing the very best I can do with what I have left. The challenge for you is let go of the idea that this is done on purpose. It's not. It's done with what I have. It's the best I have. So, let's go back to our situation where we're trying to help somebody eat. We're on their dominant side. Hand under hand. We have hand under hand. So with your partner, get to this position. And you want to be on their dominant side. You may have to switch chairs. You can sit. You can sit. I'm just standing so you can see us. Use your hand. Let them hold on to you. Now what you're going to do, just as you would have done, and just ignore this being a toothbrush, it's actually a spoon, even though it looks a lot like a pen. Don't let that confuse you. This is a spoon. Hold the spoon, caregivers, the way you would normally hold a spoon. Now you need to be 90 degrees to your partner so that their hand is lined up just like it would have always been lined up to feed themselves. Because what you're here doing is just plugging in what's missing. So you hold the utensil, they hold on to you with their strength. You're in the palm of their hand over on that skill side, and what you're going to do, put your other hand on their shoulder for right now. You want 2 points of contact, so their brain, you hold on, hang on 1 second here, let me help this group. You're a little confused. It's okay, there, and now, there you go. Perfect, there you are. If you look around and somebody needs help, give it to them, because some of them are a little bit iffy out here, and I can't watch y'all. What I want you to do, hand to the shoulder, flat open hand, no fingertips, only the palm. What are you applying? A little bit of pressure, but it also tells their brain where both of your hands are. Guess who relaxes when they know where both of your hands are? Yeah. So what we're going to do is scoop and take a bite. Scoop and take a bite. Because at this point, her brain has 90 years of feeding herself. And what I'm doing is allowing her arm to do the movement it's done for 89 of those years. And I'm just filling in the missing piece of the skill of holding the utensil, the skill of picking up the piece of food and bringing it up. And after a couple repetitions, what frequently happens in the early part of this part of the disease is I can actually switch out after the first couple bites once I remind her brain of the action. Her brain can finish, but she will actually scoop an empty plate over and over until I put a fresh piece out there for her. And I can't present a lot of options because then she has to choose and it's too complicated. So it's one item at a time, a small amount, see how that goes. Now, Go ahead and take your hand. I'm going to give you another skill here to create joy. This is the cup or the bowl that had something in it. What I'm going to do is hold on to her other hand, and this is the cup of ice cream or the bowl of ice cream. I'm holding it. We're scooping here, and her brain is very comfortable with this task. Now we're going to switch your hand so that you're holding a mug or a cup and bring it up, and that brain will know right away that we're doing a drink versus a bite. Now imagine that you have a toothbrush and you're going to brush teeth, and you say to the person, you do this, and you go, ah. Do that with your partner. I want you to try it with your partner. I want you to go, ah. And notice how many of them go, ah, back. It's an automatic. What your eye sees, your mouth does. And so I went, ah, and they go, ah. And now you show them the toothbrush, and you go, here you go, and you do the motion outside the mouth once, and then you bring it to the side of the mouth. Why to the side rather than the front? Decrease sensitivity. So what I'm doing is not startling their mouth in the front. I do the side part first. And after I do the side, then we'll try the front, because that's the most sensitive part. And I don't want to start there because I may startle and make them unhappy. What if I want to take out dentures? Ah, right here. Now, what I'm going to do this, show what you want on your body so they can see, ah, and then turn toward them. So it's a clear indication, I want to take out dentures, your dentures, reach. Now this is where, again, hand to the shoulder, stabilize. Now if I want you to take your pants off, undo the buckle and say, you push down. Now let me ask you something. Stand up, everybody. Okay, now, I want you to show me the motion with your hands. Put your hands out. Show me the motion, pull. Show me pull. Okay, now put them down to your side and show me pull. Pull. Show me pull. Pull. Show me pull. Pull. Now, pull your pants down. How stupid are you? Really dumb. You use words that mean something, pull, and then you say, no, pull them down. And you're expecting me to take those words, interpret everything you've just said, and make sense of it, added to which, turn to your partner. One of you put your hands on the other person's pants, and notice your immediate reaction to that is like, wait a minute, hang on there, what are you doing? And now they start to pull down. So pull down a little bit, and notice your automatic reaction is to what? Pull up. So what will you do? Lean your face into them and say, I'm trying to change you. Try that. See how that works for you. Let me get these off. Stop, Darlene. I'm trying to change. Honey, let me just. How many are finding that they aren't cooperating very well? Now, this is where you're tempted to give up on your relationship and just get the task done. Don't give up on the relationship. Back up and go, time out. I just lost it. I'm trying to get a task done, and I'm not getting where I wanted, and I'm getting frustrated, and I'm really focusing more on the task than our relationship. I'm willing to let go of the relationship to just get the task done. That's where you're off the tracks, and you're heading down somewhere it's not going to be a nice place to go, and it's the rest of your life. It's the rest of, do you want moments of joy, or do you want to be on this track that doesn't lead anywhere good? We've got to make a decision. So what we're going to do is we're going to back ourselves off. We're going to back up entirely. We're going to go, hey, darling, hey. I'm going to then say, get to the side of your person and say, I'm sorry. I was trying to help. I am so sorry. Oh, it's been another half hour. You only have a half hour to go. Thank God, huh? Okay, so take your hand, get to the side, and make your connection. Apologize to this person. You need to apologize. I am so sorry, caregivers, that you screwed up, but you did. You got sidetracked on a task that to that person was not that important, and you had no business doing what you were doing in their mind. And I'm sorry that their brain is dying on you. It's dying on them too, and you've got to, at this point, let go of the idea that they're being ornery and realize they aren't being ornery. They just don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, and they're not liking what you are doing, and they can't understand why you're bothering to do that, because I know how to change it. I know whether I need to take a shower. I know whether I've wet. I know that. And then here's how dumb y'all, you put them on incontinence briefs that wick the moisture away, and they are not feeling wet. They're fine until they fall off. You're the one that's all worried about the wet on the pants. I don't even feel that because I've got this nice incontinence brief you've given me that will hold up to 3 pounds of fluid. And it's not bothering, it is a little saggy, but if it gets in my way, I'll just take the sucker off and dump it somewhere, because that's really, it gets uncomfortable then hanging. That's what bothers me the most. So you have a seat for a second. I'm going to show you what to do, and then you're going to try it. What you're going to do, hey. Hey. Yeah. Hey, Darlene, right here. We're going to do this. That's it. You do it. Now, I want you to notice something about where my face is. She can't see me, and I'm not in her intimate space while she's trying to do an intimate task. So she feels like she has privacy. She actually thinks her hand is undoing the buckle, and I'll say, Darlene, you pull them down. You push them down. I'm going to say the word. I'm going to try to use the word push. You push them down. You do it. Here. Put your hand here. There you go. And push down. Push. There you go. Good job. You got it. Nice work. Okay, here. Now pull them. There you go. Pull that little thing. Okay, now let's drop it. There we go. Oh, good. Now, at this point, I've got the brief off. It's drenched. May have on it too. Yeah, we're pretty far along in the disease. My ability to recognize when I need to eliminate is dropping. Babies. How many babies you know go, hey, Mom, hang on, take me to the pot? When babies fill up, what do? Empty out. Yeah, they give you a few signals, but then, and often they don't want you messing with them when they're working on that. And then when they're done, they're happy. And then they're not happy. And that's how it goes. Get over it. Let go of the idea that I'm going to go to a toilet and use it possibly, but I might if you get me there at the right moment. Because the difference between me at 90 and me at 9 months to 2 years is that I have a lifetime of sitting on a pot to poop. What you have to do is get me there at the right time, at the right place, and you can't be ugly to me. Put one person on the pot. Let's try that. Put one person on the pot. Okay, now here's your problem. They're in front of the pot. So get them in front of the pot. Go ahead and stand up your partner and get them in front of the pot. And this is what I'll watch y'all try to do. Get right in front of them, hold on to their hands, and tell them to sit down. Okay, get in front of them. Now, people with dementia, what you need to do is put your weight on the front of your feet, because that's where it's going to be. And now caregivers try to make them sit. And notice what they feel like is it feels like you're knocking them over and you're pushing me down. And they will literally say, whoa, what are you, you're pushing me, stop that. Because they think don't push me to the floor, you're making me fall, stop. And what they'll do is just like a young child, it's called a Moro reflex. The doctors test it last when they test infants because it ticks them off. So what they do is they hold them up and they drop them back suddenly. And their arms go, and then they turn them over to the mother. Because they're checking for integrity of reflexes. And that's an intact reflex that when you start to fall backward, your arms fling out and then they close up. And then you cry, scream, because it's scary to have had that happen. You go into a panic state and you won't let go for a bit. Now, if you're right in front of a person and they think you're pushing them down, what are the two options they're going to feel toward you? They're going to grab you because they're trying to seek security, or they're going to be angry with you because they think you're trying to hurt them. Quit doing it. That's something you need to give up. That's not working for you. get to the side. Now, if you want to take the other hand and lay it on the rail, go right ahead. Put it on the rail on the far side. Let them hold on to the rail on the far side. Take this hand that you don't have engaged yet, put it behind their shoulder to their opposite hip. You're cradling their upper body. Bring your feet apart so that you have a nice wide base of support. I want you to think about where you want their butt to end up. You need a foot there, and then you want a foot where you're starting so that you're good and stable side to side. You should be able to move your hips side to side and feel really stable. Do you feel really stable? You're going to bend more at the knees than at the hips. You don't lean in, you squat a little bit. Hand to their opposite hip. Lean their hand and their shoulder forward only, no backward movement. Forward, forward, forward. Now sit.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, makes a difference.
Now, when you do that, stand back up, people with dementia. There's a big difference between pulling somebody back at the hips and leaning their upper body forward. And what happens when their upper body is forward is because their weight is on their toes, you're keeping their weight over their base of support and they don't freak out.
Yeah.
As soon as they get there, here's the other thing. Put on that one eye and look. Look, when you have your body like that, what can you see for the first time? Look, there's something to sit on. Here I thought you were shoving me to the floor with nothing. There's a chair. And so you can sit and you cradle them down and you allow them to sit.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I haven't scared you, so guess what will work better when you're sitting? The peeing and pooping.
And rubbing
because
the back helps,
yeah,
I
and
think,
rubbing
too.
the back does, because if you stroke down either side of the spinal muscle, put your hand on the person's shoulder, step back, so that your body is behind their body, but your hand is on their shoulder. Their brain knows you're there. Let go of their hand. Put your other hand, stroke down either side of their spine with the heel of your hand.
Relaxes you.
Okay, now do a couple strokes. Tell them to lean forward. Okay, now take these strokes and go. Make that noise. Go. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Now, what just happened was physiological. You can have a seat. This is the cool part of learning about your brain and your body. What we just did is stretch the sphincter muscle that causes you to be able to open your bowel up and let go. It stretches that little sphincter muscle in the front. This is where farting will definitely occur. Farting is going to happen. Oh, yeah, and then the pooping comes next. And what I'm doing by stroking down here is your kidneys sit right there, your adrenal glands sit right there. I'm applying a little bit of pressure there, and all of a sudden, and I'm also creating abdominal pressure, which is giving you that added little bump that says, move it out, put it out, get rid of it. Yeah, can you get rid of it? Yeah, I bet you can. And when I do the, how many of you have ever done that in the bathroom when the door was closed and no one was around? Why did you do it? Why do you do that kind of... What is that? What's that about? It's focused. It's almost like birthday. Ah! You remember that one, women? Yeah, that's when you didn't get an epidural. Yeah. You're pushing it out. So all of a sudden, what am I doing by being back here, though? Privacy. How many of you are women? This is particularly true of women. How many of you will go in a public restroom and poop? It's really difficult. You're got to have to go real bad to do it. And what you'll do is flush so that it makes noise. You flush so it will make noise so you can poop. Men care less. Men go in there and poop no matter what, which is why the women don't like to use the men's rooms, because the men will go in there and poop in a heartbeat. And they don't do much on courtesy flushing. We are very big in courtesy flushing. The women are very big, and it's farting, we will do courtesy flushing too. We are very uncomfortable with public farting. We don't like farting or pooping in public. It makes us very uncomfortable. We have candles at home and spray that we use so that no one will know that we poop or fart. You know, pooping and farting apparently are things only we do. No one else in the world must do this. And so we are very nervous about sharing that we poop and fart until you get dementia. So you can choose to find moments of joy here, or you can get frustrated with the person who has dementia. The problem is they aren't doing anything but the best they can do, and the challenge we face is how are we going to let go of what we can't fix and learn to help where we can. So thank you for all your help. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, now what we're going to do in this last little bit is I want you to turn to your partner you've been working with a little bit, and I want y'all to talk about what new knowledge you gained during this session, what skill you might be willing to try to use, and what kind of thing was fun and joyful for you during this time together. So go ahead and talk about that for a second, because I'm going to have you watch a couple of videos. Okay, I'm going to pause you. I'm pleased to see you actively engaged with one another, because it's what makes life better, is when we're willing to be open about things and let go of our thoughts that we know it all. We don't. I've been doing this 33 years. I've tortured a lot of old people. It was never my intent. I thought I was doing a really good job at the time, but when I look back on some of the things I've done, both to family members and to people that I've cared for professionally, I'm appalled at some of the. I used to be the lead person for CPI. I took people with head injuries down in a heartbeat. I led teams. Take them down. They're out of control. Take them down. There'd be 5 of us that would go in, and I'd put them in points. We could take them down. They didn't know what hit them. Well, they'd hit us. That's why we did it, because we thought they hit us deliberately. And now what we're figuring out is after a head injury, your brain doesn't work very well. And so when we do things that you don't understand, it causes great distress, including things like taking blood pressures. Now just think about this for a second. What are your hands to you? Are they important to you? So what I want you to do with the person next to you is I want you to take your fingertips, turn that person sideways, take your fingertips, and I want you to dig them into the underarm right there and run your fingers back and forth across the bone there. And what I'm going to tell you is all the nerves that go to your hand run right there. The blood vessels that supply the blood go there and bring it back up, and also the lymph. The lymph, the infection control system, is all right up in there. And what you just did is apply pressure to it. Well, that's very dangerous to the human body to do stuff like that. And what did I tell you about your hands? Are they important? So when somebody's squeezing the shit out of you, how many of you are thinking, get that, oh, that hurts. Stop that shit. Stop it. And all you're trying to do is take a blood pressure. Why do y'all tolerate somebody taking a blood pressure? It is actually a fairly uncomfortable experience. Why do you do it? Number one, how long is it going to last? Not very long, because you know all I have to do is bring the pressure up, that they're going to drop it right back up. And you can listen for the sounds that tell you when you're almost to those points. What's the other reason you tolerate it? Because it's going to give them information to help you be well. When you have dementia, you don't have the future, you don't have the past. What you have is this moment. And when people with dementia are reaching that point in the disease where they can't understand why you're doing stuff, and it just hurts when you do it, why would they tolerate it? It's really stupid of us to think they'll put up with it. So what can I do that would help? Darlene, come up again if you would. Can you step up here? Is that okay? Thank you, ma'am. What I'm going to do is here and here. And if I could have one of y'all come up right now, would you come up and be my blood pressure cuff? What I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself in position. You come around behind because I don't want you being in front of her. I am going to say ahead of time, Darlene, we're going to squeeze out. Yeah, here. I'm going to do this and this. Now, when I do this, okay, put it on. Okay, here we go. It's going to hurt. Here we go. Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. We're almost done. We're almost done. 1, 2, 3. You're doing terrific. You are doing so well. Yeah, we're almost, yeah. Ow, ow. Okay, we're almost there. Here it comes. Here it comes down. Here it comes down. Yeah. Now, the whole time I was pumping really, really intensely. I have my elbow behind her elbow, which keeps her arms straight. Whether we're drawing blood, whether we're taking a blood pressure, or whatever we're needing to do, the person who's managing the equipment is out of the way. I'm who she's paying attention to. And I am doing a lot of work. I'm paying good attention to her. And when she's saying ow with her body, I'm going ow out loud. I am speaking for her. And I'm saying, are we almost done? This is hard. Yeah, and she knows I'm pretending a little, but it hurts. I can tell it hurts because she's squeezing the crap out of my hands. What I also will tell you is when I do this, her elbow doesn't bend very well because I'm using mechanical advantage. I'm using my body to stabilize. Now, if she likes to use her fingernails to get pressure, and some people do, what I will do before I get in there is put on a glove and fold up a washcloth. Right there. What does she get? She gets her needs met without me getting hurt because she's digging into the washcloth. Works really well. Yeah. What if we have to do a disimpaction? That's your job. I'm in charge of the front end. Actually, I have the harder job. But I will be the person who speaks for her. I'll say, stop. That's enough. That hurts. That hurts. Ease up. Ease up. And I say it out loud, but I'm actually speaking to you and speaking for you because I become your voice, your advocate. I'm the one that translates what you need into what they understand. It now is a triangle anytime we do care. I need to be there for you because I have to advocate for you. I have to speak your language so the person who's in charge of what needs to be done, quote unquote, is really paying attention. And when I say enough, enough, we're done, I need you to listen to me. I'm the boss of this because I'm willing to let you be the boss of this because I've done everything I knew how to know the difference between giving up and letting go. And when she says, that's it, I can't do this anymore, I'm really right there with her, and I know whether I can help her one more little bit to get through this or that's enough. And I've got to listen to what she tells me because it's her life, and I'm here to help her live it. Your job is to do what you can to help us, but know when to back off. And also know when I need a break. Because I'm losing somebody I love, and it may be that I need to grieve her loss, but I can't do it in front of her. So I need to step away. And that's where you may need to say, Teepa, I won't be you, but I can help her for a little bit while you take a break. Will you please take a break? And I'll be here the whole time. Because it takes a team to do this. And if you're not careful, you lose a primary caregiver because they wear themselves out trying to do everything and they can't recognize their grieving loss. They are grieving the loss of this person. And we need to accept that when one person gets dementia, put your hand up. When one person gets dementia, do this. Everyone around them is living with it. But they'll always do this, be a primary. And this primary doesn't realize how often they try to do the Lone Ranger thing. And what we need it to be is a team. We're much stronger as a team. People will have skill, but you also need strength. And it's coming together. Thank y'all.
That's powerful.
There you go. Good job. Good job. So I want to show you a few brief clips of situations. And this is my friend George. And George and I met when I got an emergency call about 3 years before this. He was caring for his wife Norma at home. And I got an emergency call. I worked for the Alzheimer's Association. I was their education director in North Carolina. And I got a call at 5:30 on Friday afternoon. I was still in the office. Let's just leave it there. And I got this call from this man who said, oh, no, it wasn't him. It was the hospital, a local hospital emergency room. And they said, this man has told us to call this office to see if there's any way to get help. His wife has dementia. He's had a heart attack, and he's in the emergency room. There is nobody else. And I said, well, where do they live? And it was like nothing but about 3 miles from the office. And I said, well, I can go by. And he said, through his heart attack, the key's by the door under a rock. And I said, okay, well, do you think she'll let me in? She lets everybody in. And so the question, of course, becomes, why were you not home? And she was, but that's beside the point at this point. So I went over. Norma did indeed let me in. I found out George was having a massive heart attack. So what we did was arrange for Norma to go stay in a facility for 2 weeks until George recovered. George was not willing to give up Norma, but he had worn himself down to a heart attack. So I said to George, George, if you would like to continue to caregive for Norma, I just paid for 2 weeks for you while you had your heart attack. And I want to help you, but I'm not going to put you right back where you were before because you had a heart attack. You do hear me, do you not, George? George was an ex-Marine, Iwo Jima. George believed you go till you can't go anymore till you die. I mean, you just go till you drop. So I knew that about George, and I said, you owe me. He said, what do I owe you? And I said, you must go to a support group at least once. At least once. You don't have to go back, but I want you to go at least once. And number 2, I want Norma in day center twice a week in the morning. She won't get anything out of it. She might not. It's not about her. I want you to go do things for you 2 days a week. I want you to take a break. You love her and you're losing her. You've been married 65 years, George. This is not easy for either one of you. And he said, fine. Now, was he really saying fine? No, he was pissed off because I told the Lone Ranger, get off. Get off the horse. I want you off the horse for a little bit. I know you're a Lone Ranger, but that's enough already. All you're going to do is you're going to die and Norma's still going to need care. And he did. We had lots of conversations. He called me after the first week of day center and said, can she go 5 days a week? And I said, George, I can make arrangements for 5 days. And after 5 days, and it was about 2 months, he called and said, do they do weekend care? Why? Because he realized that when he took a break, it was important to have a break. He could find more joy in being with her when he had had some time to de-stress, take a break, breathe, do some things he liked doing, because they used to do everything together. They were both craftspeople. He was a woodworker, and she did fine detail stuff. She painted, she drew, she did all kinds of art stuff. She sewed. She did all that, and she'd lost it all to the disease. And he was really feeling that loss. So 2 years went by. Oh, and he went to his support group, and he called me, and he said, you know, this wasn't like I thought it was. It was pretty good. I'm baking a pound cake for next time. And I said, well, that's great, George. I'm glad you found something to do. That's good. And so he continued to go. Actually, after Norma died, he continued to go for 5 years after that, supporting other people. He found a way to give back to the disease. And he also agreed for us to come in. 2 years later, after that, I get a phone call Friday afternoon. It was late. Teepa, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt her. Now, imagine being on the end of the phone call when you hear this man who's given his life over to caring for his wife, and he says, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt her. And I said, you're afraid you're going to hurt her. Tell me more about that, George. She knows what she's doing, and she just won't do it. She knows. She looks at me, and she smiles, and then she does stuff. She knows. And I said, wow, that sounds bad. From the moment and I said, well, when is it happening? From the moment we get up. And I said, okay, so what time do you get up, George? 5 a.m. I live an hour from George. And I said, I'll be there in the morning at 5. Don't wake her up until I get there. I came, I spent a day with George, and I figured out what was going on. Norma's dementia was reaching a later stage. And George thought deliberate behaviors were occurring when she simply was losing skills that he was assuming she had. So I said, George, would you be willing to videotape, for us to videotape the very next day? And so he said yes, if it would make a difference to other people. I don't want this disease to take my wife and not do anything about it. So he agreed to have us videotape. So what you're going to see is the very next day of George trying to give care to Norma, and then the day after when I take over and give care to Norma. Okay? So this is George in the morning trying to get Norma to take one little pill. Oh, come on. Hang on. Let's see what's wrong with our sound. Oh. Let me try that. Let me do this. Let me undo this. We had this working. We checked it. Rhonda's trying to fix it. Good. Let me mess everything up first, because I don't want her to have a chance at doing it till I give it a good shot at screwing it up. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see. Let me try that. All right. Why is this not working, Rhonda? It was working before. Let me undo this. Let me see if it'll do it without. Okay, so it's doing that. Plug this one in first. Yeah.
Move that out of the way. Yeah, wipe your hand. Yeah, put this in your mouth.
Okay, I'm going to back you up because I want you to see the beginning. There we go. I think it'll be there. Son of a gun. It was there. Did you hear it? What did you do, Rhonda? It was working just fine till you came up here. Okay, somehow it's the connection here. So I can get it here, but you can't watch it. Well, this is frustrating.
Let's try this again.
All right.
Take it back to the beginning.
Okay, so.
Yeah, put this in your mouth.
Okay.
And drink the water and swallow. Drink the water. Norma? Yeah.
Okay, so it's this that's making it turn off, and it starts off okay, and then something in the system tells it not to do it. Why did you do that? I had this all worked out.
Do you have a copy of this?
I do, but it's going to be too late for us to do it. It's okay. I have a DVD, but it's okay. You know what? We're going to pause, and I'm not going to get to show you George and Norma. I so wanted you to see George and Norma, but by the time I figure this out, we're out of time. What I want to tell you, let me just tell you what's happening here. Let me have you just watch this very beginning. I just want you to watch it, and I'll do the narration because I was there, so I remember it real clearly. They're sitting there and drinking, and what's happening, just so you know, is Norma's copying George. And whatever George does, Norma does. And so they've been sitting and eating, and George says, it's about time you want to take a pill. You want to take your one pill. You just got one little pill to take. You ready to take it? And she goes, oh, okay. And he goes, you want to take it now? And she goes, oh, okay. Then George starts to stand up, and what Norma does, watch, he'll stand up. Norma starts to stand up too because she thinks that's what he wants her to do. Now notice when she started to stand up, what happened? Was she looking at where she put her hand? No, she stuck it in the jelly. So George has been doing this a long time, so what she does is she starts to lick the jelly off her hand, and he's handing her a napkin, which she doesn't see, and rather than getting upset with her, he says, well, you can lick it off if you want to, that's fine. But what he doesn't realize is that Norma has no idea she's going to take a pill. She thinks he wants her to get up and come with him. So from now on, they are on 2 separate pages. Okay? So George now does a nice job of not fussing with her. And he actually knows that if he wants her to take the pill, he's got to move the food out of the way. So he moves the food out of the way. He does a very good job of that. He's learned a lot. So he moves this stuff out of the way because what he wants her to do is take a pill. Now she has been eating. And so when he hands her this little thing to eat, she puts it in her mouth automatically because she's been eating. And then George points to the water and he wants her to drink the water. Well, she doesn't quite get that because she's eating. So he brings the water to her mouth. And she goes, oh, okay, you want me to drink, I'll drink. So what she does, let me just be clear about this. When he gives her the water, she moves the pill over to the edge so she can drink the water. Because what's he showing her? Drink water. So she keeps thinking he wants her to drink water. So she's trying to chew this little piece of thing up and suck on it because it's sort of hard, but she's moving it out of the way every time he gives her a drink of water so that she can drink water because she thinks that's what he wants her to do, and he keeps going at this, okay? And his voice changes. So now I'm going to let you listen to it, hopefully.
Swallow the pill, please.
Swallow the pill.
Drink the water and swallow the pill.
Drink the pill and drink the water and swallow the pill. She doesn't understand his words. She's dripping a little bit because she's having a hard time controlling the liquid.
Get it down? No.
No. She's
Drink some
still
more
chewing
water.
the pill. Every time he quits giving her something to drink, she thinks she's supposed to chew the pill. So she drinks some more. And he says,
You remember when you had your blood clot?
No.
That's what that medicine's for, to keep you from having them. You got to drink, swallow the pill. Drink the water, Norma.
now he's putting the glass up to her mouth and forcing her to drink water.
Drink the water, Norma.
And now he's tipping it in her mouth and it's starting to come out the edges.
You don't want me to force you to this. Swallow the pill.
Swallow the pill. Swallow the pill.
You have to. Here, drink. Finish a little bit of water left.
She actually finishes what happened. The pill dissolved in her mouth over time, and George is still unhappy with her.
Go down. After all that, let's go take a shower.
Okay, so now we're going to go take a shower, which is another disaster because George tells her to get in the shower, step in the shower, step in the shower, turn, pick up the soap, pick up the soap. Where's the soap, Norma? Do you see the soap? Norma, get the soap, the soap. Then he points and she sees the soap. And so and it goes like this, and then we have the dressing sequence where she's sitting in a chair. George goes across the room and says, "Here are your socks." And he tosses them to her. Here's the really funny part. She catches them. But then, here comes the next piece. After all that, he comes over and he hands her the socks. Well, what he had just done in the bathroom is done her dentures. So show me where your hands would be doing dentures. Show me where he had her do dentures. Put them back in. So he hands her the socks. And what does she start to do? That's when George literally loses it. He goes, "No, it's socks!" And he grabs them and he starts to put them on her legs. and he's bending over, and he's 89. He's bending over like this, and he has he has lots of bone spurs in his back, and he's bending over like this, and you're just sitting there, not doing anything, and he pulls the socks up, and he lets them snap. You can hear how frustrated he is. And then he says, your other foot, and she picks up her other, see, you know what you're doing. Well, once he did one foot, then her brain knew we were doing socks. But George's interpretation is she chooses to do this. So he was exhausted, and he was hurting. So what happened is the very next day, I took over, and I went for 5 days and worked with Norma. And what you would be able to see is the difference between me helping Norma and George helping Norma, because I'm not grieving her loss. I'm with her in the moment, and we can find many moments of joy because we're together where she's at. George couldn't do it in that moment. He had to take a break. He needed a vacation. He took respite. He took a break for 5 days, and then he could learn. He couldn't even learn when we first started. He went in the kitchen. You can hear him in the background in the tape loading the dishwasher. That's all I could do. He couldn't be in that room and watch me get Norma to do things that he couldn't do because he was so frustrated with her. And at that moment, that's when he realized he was losing her a little bit more. And he had to grieve that loss. And he had to acknowledge this disease has an end point, and I can't change that. What I can change is how the journey is while you're there. So last thing we're going to do, and I know I'm running over a tiny bit, but we're going to do it anyway, is we're going to sing a song together. I know, I don't care whether you like it or not. I'm the boss. For a few more minutes, and then I have to turn over control. Here's the system that we're going to do here. Let me see if I can get this to be happy. Slideshow from the beginning. Here's the song we're going to sing. It's This Little Light of Mine. Most of you know This Little Light of Mine. You've sung this song before. You're familiar with it. This is the Southern version. I don't know if it's exactly the same as yours. Only what I've done is change the words. So we're going to sing it through one time, and then I'm going to give you new words. Okay, you ready? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I am gonna meet and greet before I start to treat. I am gonna meet and greet before I check your feet. I am gonna meet and greet before I help you eat. How I start sets us up to succeed. No more just getting it done, I'm gonna do with you. No more just getting it done, I'm gonna help you through. No more just getting it done, we're gonna work we two. 'Cause if I do it all, we both lose. I'm gonna laugh and dance with you and not just yeah, I'm gonna laugh and dance with you and not just stand around. I'm gonna laugh and dance with you, we'll really go to town. For the power of joy I have found. Find your moments of joy. It's what you're given. They're gifts. Use them wisely. Thank y'all.